Baha says the Mondrian is out and SLS is in. An F&M MP takes government to task over crime. The PLP chairman blasts a former PLP cabinet minister. Plus, Urban Renewal Sporting League jumps off. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm 22 and NB12 starts now. Topping news tonight, just 6 months before the opening of the $3.5 billion Baha Resort, the developer has terminated its hotel management agreement with Morgan's Hotel Group, meaning the Mondrian brand will no longer be a part of the sprawling Cable Beach property. However, Baha didn't waste time finding a replacement, signing a 20-year agreement with SLS Hotels last night.
Baha and Morgan's management agreement has been terminated.
Hours after their management agreement with Morgan's Hotel Group was officially terminated, Baha executives moved quickly, signing a 20-year management agreement with SLS Hotels last evening to operate Baha's 300-room luxury lifestyle hotel and residences. Senior VP Robert Sands says the hotel will be called SLS at Baha.
And it is a perfect fit for Baha. This luxury brand speaks to the unstoppable momentum of Baha, and we are very thrilled to have this high-profile luxury brand as part of our portfolio of hotels at Baha.
Sands would not say when Baha officials began talks with SLS Hotels, which has signature hotels in Beverly Hills and Miami Beach, and is also opening resorts in Las Vegas, New York, Philadelphia, and China. Just last week, he downplayed a legal dispute with Morgan's Hotel Group, which moved to terminate its agreement with Baha after the developer failed to obtain a non-disturbance agreement.
Because the management agreement has been terminated between the parties, the issues between us have been largely resolved. Those that are outstanding, we are hopeful will be resolved in very short order. It will have absolutely no impact on Baha. Baha is scheduled to open December 2014. SLS at Baha will open along with the other brands.
Baha CEO Sarkis Merlian said in a statement today, SLS will bring a spark of creativity and fun that fits in brilliantly with Baha's distinctive array of brands and partners, adding the company's experience in creating, selling, and managing luxury real estate properties will bring additional value to the SLS residences at Baha.
That our portfolio of best-in-class brands and now the addition of SLS, I think, gives added confidence to the marketplace that once we open, this will be an address that you must come and see, must come and visit, and be blown away by the service that we will provide.
From the House of Assembly, Free National Movement Member of Parliament Nico Grant today taking government to task over crime. During his contribution to the budget debate, Grant questioned the accuracy of the country's murder rate and recalled criticisms uttered by then opposition leader Perry Christie about the Ingram administration's handling of crime. Dana Smith reports.
Central Grand Bahama MP Nico Grant blasted the Christie administration on crime. He said scores of deaths remain unclassified and questioned just what the murder count really is.
Murder is up considerably when compared to last year. What is the true or correct count for 2014 today? Is it 60, 61, or 65? The Prime Minister declared that he would suffocate crime. There's no sign of crime being suffocated. Crime is suffocating the citizens of this country. As a matter of fact, if it was fire, it would appear that crime is breathing pure oxygen. It's ablaze like a torch. 3 murders this weekend. Not a day go by without a major crime being committed.
Grant said daily shootings have become the norm, with stabbings a close second. He said the Progressive Liberal Party will forever hate the day and damn the hour they posted the now infamous signs declaring how many murders had occurred under the F&M's watch. Grant said, as leader of the opposition during the election campaign, Prime Minister Barry Christie promised community policing would be reinstated, and Operation Ceasefire would increase surveillance for those out on bail and ensure that tougher sentences for illegal weapon possession would become the order of the day. But Grant said that hasn't happened.
The Bahamian people now know that this was a joke. There has been no ceasefire. When on occasions we have a murder every day, shootings every day, persons with anklet bracelets being killed and are killing. Mr. Speaker, we must be ever so careful what we say, especially on the campaign trail. We should not make promises that we are incapable of keeping.
Grant said the PLP also promised and continues to promote swift justice. But for many families, he explained, that isn't a reality. He said the families of the 6 people who died in a house fire almost a year ago, for example, are still awaiting answers. He questioned why those deaths have not yet been classified, asking, is it to suppress the murder count?
Scores of persons have not been able to bring closure in their lives as it relates to the death of their loved ones. It has yet to be determined how these 6 persons lost their lives in a house fire. I again ask the question, why are their deaths remaining unclassified? Is it to suppress the murder count for last year? Scores of deaths remain unclassified. The Bahamian people will be the judge on why this unacceptable behavior is being practiced.
Grant also said he's very concerned about crime in Grand Bahama, which this year has seen 3 murders in 36 hours, 4 in a week, and 8 total. He said the murder count for 2014 on that island already doubles the count for 2013. Grant also recalled criticisms leveled at the Ingram administration by Christie back when he was leader of the opposition. According to Grant, Christie had said bad governance under the F&M led to the escalation of crime. Grant said Christie also said former Mount Moriah MP and National Security Minister Tommy Turnquest was tragically incompetent. Grant questioned if Christie still believes bad governance is contributing to crime and if the current National Security Minister is just as incompetent.
The right honorable member has been the Prime Minister now for 2 years. I ask him, what is now the reason for the unacceptable level of crime in the Bahamas today? Or does he now accept that it's bad governance? The former member for Mount Moriah and the Minister of National Security has been gone now for 2 years. He has been gone now for 2 years. Nothing has changed. The senseless murders continue. He has been replaced by the member for Bain and Grandstown. I now ask the Right Honorable Member for Centerville and Prime Minister of the Bahamas, is the member for Bain and Grandstown and now Minister for National Security tragically incompetent?
As for the Deputy Prime Minister, Grant said Philip Davis accused the F&M government of being clueless and not living up to its obligation to protect the Bahamian people. However, Grant said Davis himself admitted under this administration that no one is safe in the Bahamas, and that was confirmed when Davis himself was robbed in a home invasion. Grant said the PLP accused the F&M of being paralyzed and unable to lead on the issue of crime, but now it's the PLP who is paralyzed and unable to lead. Reporting for NB12, I'm Dana Smith.
And from the courts, Justice Bernard Turner has given attorney Jeffrey Fackerson 21 days to pay a $2,000 fine or spend 14 days behind bars. However, he later agreed to stay his decision until tomorrow at 10 a.m. to allow Fackerson to file an appeal. Fackerson was found guilty in a contempt of court action following several heated exchanges with the Supreme Court judge during the trial of convicted child killer Kofi Goodman. He was fined $1,000 each for 2 acts of contempt. On one occasion in July, Fackerson exclaimed that the Bahamian people needed to know the foolishness that the judge was doing. Before delivering his decision today, Turner said Fackerson attacked the integrity of the court and behaved in an egregiously outrageous manner more than once. However, he says Fackerson never retracted his statements and insisted his behavior was proper. For that reason, Justice Turner said some penalties are required and he feels compelled to act to prevent such behavior from occurring in another court. Fackerson reacted outside court today.
The court has spoken. I'm an attorney. This is what I do for a living. I respect the court. But, you know, there's an appeal process. And sometimes counsel and defense counsel needs to be brave, you know, and we need to have the courage to stand for what we believe is correct and to suffer the indignity that comes along with it.
Fackerson asked Justice Turner to stay his decision for 21 days or until he can receive transcripts for those proceedings, arguing that it could potentially damage his professional life and the Crown could argue in other court matters that he should not be heard. Turner eventually agreed to stay his decision for 24 hours, but made it clear it would expire tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Well, the 24 hours is better than nothing. But my own opinion is, of course, that the judgment ought to have been stayed. It means that within 24 hours, I must now approach the Court of Appeal for a further stay. Unless, of course, at the end of the 24-hour period, once he sees the appeal, he grants a further stay. But there are serious implications for my practice, serious implications for the government if it turns out that I'm right on appeal with respect to damages. And I'm sure everyone would have considered that.
Turner cited Fackerson for contempt during Goodman's trial, which ran from April to August 2013. However, he did not act immediately in the interest of justice to Goodman. Goodman has been sentenced to death for the murder of 11-year-old Mark Warter. He is appealing his conviction and sentence. A former death row inmate who now mentors at-risk children has been resentenced to 50 years in prison. 51-year-old Shelton Moss has already spent 26 years behind bars. He was convicted in May 1989 for the murder of Philip Kelly, a beach warden. 17 years after his conviction, the Privy Council quashed the mandatory death sentence after declaring the penalty unconstitutional. Moss appeared before Senior Justice John Isaacs on Wednesday to be resentenced in compliance with that decision. Moss says his life now has purpose and that he has availed himself of training opportunities at the prison to make himself a better person. In spite of Moss's turnaround, Isaac said he had to consider the circumstances of the crime. He said the greatest degree of leniency he can give is not to impose a sentence of life, but sentence him to 50 years with effect from May 18, 1989.